10. Kane Mitchell. When 30-year-old Lucy Smith lost a child in 2019, police in Cambridgeshire, England found the circumstances oddly suspicious. They asked her how the injuries on the kid even happened, and she said she had no idea. She reassured detectives she would tell them if anything came up. An investigation led them to Smith's boyfriend, 32-year-old Kane Mitchell, who was caring for the child when the incident took place. They arrested him at a local hospital where he burst into tears, claiming he wasn't capable of doing such a terrible crime. By then, law enforcement already had evidence linking Mitchell to the crime, and they claimed he was just a killer pretending to act like a doting father to make himself seem innocent. They also accused Lucy of covering up for her lover by pretending she didn't know about the crime. During the trial, neighbors testified that they heard many arguments coming from the home for the 8 months Mitchell had lived there. At the time, Smith was pregnant, and the child was not Mitchell's biological son. The killer's ex-girlfriend told the BBC that she had warned police before that if they didn't stop Mitchell, he would end up killing someone. Turns out, she was right. Mitchell was found guilty of murder and sentenced to a minimum of 18 years in prison. 9. Casey Smitherman. Casey Smitherman was working as the superintendent of Elwood Community Schools in Indiana in 2019 when she got access to medical care for a sick student by using her son's insurance. She would later explain she'd called the student's home, and when he didn't show up to school, and he described symptoms that sounded like strep throat. Knowing there could be serious consequences for going untreated, she took the teen to an urgent care clinic and picked up a prescription for antibiotics at a local pharmacy. Deep down, Smitherman knew she was doing something wrong, but her concern for the boy outweighed her fears for potential consequences. It was soon discovered that she had pretended the child was her son, so she was arrested on multiple counts of fraud. Smitherman resigned from her position as superintendent and apologized to the school board and community for her actions. While her educational career was over, she was given the chance to avoid a record when the prosecutor offered a deal to avoid a criminal conviction, as long as she didn't get arrested again over the following year. It seems wrong that such a selfless act was punished so harshly. 8. Trent Kelly Freeman. When 38-year-old Trent Kelly Freeman claimed she couldn't work due to a severe COVID diagnosis, her bosses and co-workers at Gilchrist County Sheriff's Office responded sympathetically. After she used up all her sick time, some of her colleagues donated theirs to make sure she could focus on her health without worrying about the money. She was out of work for 2 months, even claiming at one point that she had been put in a medically induced coma thanks to the severity of her condition. But it turns out, Freeman wasn't sick at all. Investigators found out when they started noticing some inconsistencies in her requests and other evidence that didn't add up. They realized she'd pulled an elaborate scam while working full-time elsewhere. Prosecutors accused Freeman of forging medical documents and tricking her fellow employees out of $3,700 and hundreds of sick hours. She was taken into custody and held on a $50,000 bond. It's unclear where the case currently stands, but hopefully she learned her lesson. 7. Solomon Shlomo Azari. In 2019, Canadian tennis star Eugenie Bouchard spent her time off court living at Hotel South Beach in Miami. During her stay, someone who works for her disputed tens of thousands of dollars in charges they didn't recognize. An investigation found that a man pretended to be Bouchard's brother, Will, and had racked up a hefty $42,000 bill over a 2-month period, despite looking nothing like the man. He became a regular at the hotel's restaurant and rooftop bar, where he freely indulged without worrying about a tab. Police tracked the activity to 24-year-old Solomon Shlomo Azari and charged him with scheme to defraud, identity theft, grand theft, as well as possession of cocaine. Bouchard confirmed that she did not know the man, and he did not have any permission to charge money to her account. He was released on bond while the case worked its way through the court system, but the current outcome is unclear. 6. Nicole El Cabas. A 44-year-old named Nicole El Cabas found out she beat ovarian cancer just a few weeks before her oncologist found a crowdfunding campaign that wanted to raise money for private treatment. The page alleged El Cabas needed to travel from Kent, England to Spain for life-saving care, and even featured a photo of her lying in a hospital bed, looking incapacitated and frail. Donations flooded in to a little more than £45,000, $54,472 US. Knowing El Cabas was committing fraud, the oncologist reported the scam to law enforcement. Detectives determined the photo used on her fundraising site was not taken at a clinic in Spain, as she claimed online, but was snapped after the removal of her gallbladder just months before. They confirmed she was not at the clinic she claimed to be, and that her doctor she said was treating her didn't even exist. In court, jurors learned El Cabas spent her ill-gotten donations on vacations to Italy and Spain, where she gambled and shopped her heart out. During these trips, she periodically updated her concerned followers with detailed and disturbing reports about her fake cancer treatments. El Cabas was convicted of fraud in early 2021 and received a prison sentence of 9 years. The crowdfunding website she used refunded all the donations she'd received and ultimately shouldered the cost of the fraud after a court determined El Cabas was too poor to pay the full amount and instead ordered her to repay just £5, $6 US. To many, the meager amount was a far cry from justice and, in a sense, made it feel like she was getting away with her crimes despite the prison sentence. 5. Jacob Blair Scott. In July 2018, police discovered a small boat off Orange Beach in Alabama that belonged to Jacob Blair Scott. On the boat, they found a gun and what seemed to be a goodbye note, indicating the Alabama man may have taken his life. But there was little evidence to indicate this was the case, and investigators couldn't find any remains, leading detectives to believe he'd tried to fake his death to get out of serving time for major criminal allegations he was fighting in court. At the time, he was out on bond and had an upcoming hearing for charges alleging he'd done incredibly inappropriate things to an underage victim. When local authorities failed to find Scott's body after searching for multiple weeks, they got the feds involved, and the US Marshals added him to their most wanted list. Scott was finally found in 2020 at an RV park in Oklahoma, where he was living under someone else's name. The 44-year-old was taken to Mississippi to continue his court case, and he pleaded for leniency, claiming he was mentally ill when he committed the crimes. But the judge took no mercy, citing the evidence in the case as overwhelming. She sentenced Scott to 85 years in prison and fined him $10,000 for his actions. 4. Catherine Sema. A 42-year-old nurse practitioner from Elmsford, New York, was brought down by federal authorities earlier this year for running a clever but highly criminal side hustle. Catherine Sema was accused of telling patients they qualified for student loan relief and offering to help them qualify for a 10 to 20% cut, according to the Department of Justice, DOJ. What she was actually doing was faking the patient's disabilities and diagnoses using stolen identities and forging the signatures of more than a dozen doctors. Over a 5-year period, Sema secured over $10.5 million for more than 100 borrowers under the Total and Permanent Disability Discharge Program, which relieves disabled individuals of student loan obligations. The practitioner allegedly collected about $1 million in fees that she charged for assisting patients with this process. While it's believed the patients were tricked into thinking they genuinely qualified for help, the DOJ says they don't have permanent mental or physical disabilities, which means they were ineligible for the program in the first place. Sema faces a slew of charges, including wire fraud, federal financial aid fraud, and aggravated identity theft. If convicted on the wire fraud count alone, she could face up to 20 years in prison. We'll have to wait and see what her final verdict becomes. 3. Wolff Jenkins. A TikToker that goes by the name Wolff Jenkins recently went viral for posting a video of himself faking an injury to get past the security line in an airport. The footage shows the man getting escorted through the terminal in a wheelchair, which is one of a handful of services airports typically offer to disabled people free of charge. Jenkins was traveling from Turkey to the UK and claimed he'd hurt his leg. The assistance he received saved him roughly a 2-hour wait in the line, and he got an entire row of seats to himself on the plane. He can be seen spinning the wheelchair around and walking away laughing at the end of the short video. In the post caption, he wrote it was amazing what taking off one sock can achieve. Jenkins told Deadline News he came up with the idea while waiting in a security line and watching people in wheelchairs get pushed right through. He said he went outside, took his sock and shoe off, then went back in and told an employee he'd twisted his ankle before getting into his taxi at a hotel. The scheme worked, and Jenkins explained he did it to avoid missing his flight. He also claimed he told staff members he could walk if necessary, but they told him not to worry about it. The deceptive misuse of services sparked a debate among commenters, with many praising Jenkins as a genius for figuring out an easy way to bypass the long lines airports are notorious for. Others were extremely put off, including actual wheelchair users who pointed out how these services are meant for people who really need them, not just people playing the system. 2. Caitlyn Armstrong. Professional cyclist Anna Wilson was in Austin, Texas earlier this year for a race when she decided to meet up with her ex-boyfriend Colin Strickland during some of her free time. The former lovers went swimming and had dinner before parting ways. Just minutes after returning to the friend's house she was staying at, Wilson was shot and killed. Emergency responders pronounced her dead at the scene. An investigation revealed Strickland's girlfriend at the time, a 35-year-old yoga instructor named Caitlyn Armstrong, was insanely jealous of Wilson. They found surveillance footage on the woman's vehicle parked outside the house where she was killed along with other evidence, leading them to believe Armstrong murdered the athlete in a fit of jealous rage. Strickland cooperated with the investigation and issued a statement expressing his regret over his supposed proximity to the crime. Meanwhile, Armstrong's family claimed she's innocent and would never do something so horrific. An arrest warrant was issued, but Armstrong had conveniently flown to New York just 3 days after the murder. Her trail disappeared from there, causing a 43-day international manhunt. In the meantime, investigators found out she'd sold her Jeep to a dealership in Austin before skipping town. US Marshals finally captured Armstrong in early July after tracking her down to a hostel in Costa Rica. She had changed her physical appearance by dyeing her hair dark brown, and she used a fake passport to hop a flight into the country from Newark, according to Deputy US Marshal Brandon Filler, who spoke with the local station KXAN. Armstrong is being deported to the US to face charges related to Wilson's murder and own up to her crimes. 1. Rajyash Khadiriya. In late 2020, a former Bank of America employee named Rajyash Khadiriya claimed he had pancreatic cancer and that he would die within the year. In reality, the England-based banker was not terminally ill at all, and he used forged medical documents to receive £1.2 million, $1,452,600 in insurance money. An investigation found that Khadiriya's fraudulent activities dated all the way back to 2016, when he used his position at work to convince people to invest in non-existent financial products. Many of his victims were friends, parents of his children's friends, and even close family members. They were defrauded out of £600,000, $726,300 after being told they could double or triple their money by investing with Khadiriya. But instead of going into real portfolios, the funds went straight to his bank account and financed his lavish lifestyle, which included several properties, luxury cars, and even private schooling for his children. Victims started to realize something wasn't right when they couldn't access their returns and struggled to get in touch with Khadiriya, who made many excuses to avoid communicating, including saying his daughter had been killed in a car accident. Many of these victims were left in financial despair since they were forced to take out loans and sell their homes to cover their losses. Khadiriya pleaded guilty to over 30 counts of fraud. His attorney claims he's a person of good character and that the victims will eventually be substantially or wholly repaid. But the judge saw no excuse and imposed a 6-year prison sentence. Thanks for watching. Have you ever been caught in a lie? What happened? Let us know in the comments below and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Bye.